Funny Pages number 11 from Comics Magazine had a cover date of June 1937. The cover art is by Jay Patterson, and The Clock is featured in a 2-page story from writer-artist George Brenner. Tip Top Comics number 14 from United Features Syndicate was published with a cover date of June 1937. It featured over 100 funnies featuring newspaper reprints such as Tarzan, Little Abner, Ella Cinders, Jim Hardy, Captain and the Kids, Joe Jinks, Bronco Bill, Hawkshaw the Detective, and many others. King Comics number 15 was published by David McKay Publications, cover dated June 1937. There is a mile-high pedigree copy of this book from the Edgar Church collection. Features a Popeye cover, and some of the highlighted characters are Popeye, Henry, Flash Gordon, Little Annie Rooney, Henry, and King of the Royal Mounted. New Adventure Comics number 16, published by DC Comics, cover dated June 1937. This issue marks the first non-humor cover of the title and is labeled Scarce by Gerber. Junior Federal Men Club begins with this issue. The cover art features Federal Men from Craig Flessel. And the character we see is Steve Carson. Dale Daring is a 2-page story from writer and artist Will Eli under the alias of Will Georgie. And William Eli, born 1919, worked as a comic book artist from the late 1930s to the early 60s. Initially working through Funnies Inc., he did art on Dell features like Ellery Queen, Martin the Marvel Man, The Robinsons, and Calling All Cars. He worked extensively for National, Allied, and DC titles, starting with features like Barry O'Neill, Larry Steele, Sandra of the Secret Service, and Dale Daring in the 30s, eventually leading up to crime and mystery stories such as House of Mystery, House of Secrets, Casebook Mystery, and Tales of the Unexpected. Eli has also drawn adventure comics for Centaur, Fiction House, ACG, Ziff Davis, Eastern Color, Hillman, Marvel, and Charlton, and has illustrated such superhero comics as Rip Hunter Time Master and The Atom. Steve Conrad Adventure is a 4-page story from writer-artist Craig Flessel, and Jungle Fever is a 4-page story from writer-artist Ed Winiarski. Popular Comics number 17 from Dell Comics, cover dated June 1937, features a Dick Tracy story running 4 pages from writer-artist Chester Gould, Little Orphan Annie 4-page story from Harold Gray, and Milton Caniff gave us a 3-page Terry and the Pirate story. Mickey Mouse Magazine number 21, published by Western, featured highlighted stories such as Donald Duck, Pluto, Mickey Mouse, Mortimer Mouse, and many other funny animals. More Fun Comics number 21 from DC Comics, cover dated June 1937, featured cover art by Vincent Sullivan, a humor cover. Some of the other highlights include Sandra of the Secret Service, a 3-page story from writer-artist Will Eli under the alias Will Georgie. Bradley Boys is a 2-page story from writer-artist Craig Flessel under the alias Fless. Thrilling True Stories is a 2-page story from writer Richard Speed with pencils by Craig Flessel. And Flessel also gave us Hanko the Cowhand and Pet Morgan, both in 2-page stories. And Siegel and Schuster teamed up under the alias Leaguer and Ruths for the adventure fantasy supernatural 2-page story Dr. Occult. Siegel and Schuster also gave us a 2-page story Radio Squad, and this issue features a promotional advertisement for Detective Comics number 4. Famous Funnies number 35 from Eastern Color, cover dated June 1937, featured an Okie Dokes cover. This was the longest running comic book in history so far, hitting 35 issues. Some of the highlights include War on Crime, the first crime genre story, and running in each issue. This issue featured a 4-page story from writer Rex Collier and art by Kemp Sterrett. S.A. Iger gave us a 1-page Queenie story as well as a 1-page Bobby story. And there is a 4-page Buck Rogers feature from writer Philip Francis Nolan and art by Rick Yeager under the alias Dick Calkins.